Okay, this investigation I had with Google today is about ethnicity, authenticity, and integrity in nationality, and legally what constitutes you to be classified or defined as being a nationality. So when people migrate to another country, say the UK, in the UK, they can be legally classified as British, despite that they are Chinese or African or Pakistan. They can be legally defined, which messes up the statistics, the AI, because then if you're classified as British when you actually come from Pakistan or China, then if you do a search or ask a question to Google or anywhere, the statistics will come back to reflect what you're legally defined as rather than what you actually are. So there's a bit of an illusion. That's quite a frightening thing. It's a threat to national security. It's not with integrity, because it's the same with when you have a transvestite or somebody who, say, legally has a sex change and is then legally defined as being a man when they're a female or vice versa. That messes up the statistics in the AI and, in all the references. It messes up the science. It's not science. So science is to classify you as that which you are. And even if you have, say, migrated somewhere, you are still that which you are. So a dog will still be a dog, even if it goes to live with monkeys. Okay, it doesn't become a monkey because it lives with monkeys, no matter how long for. It might start to behave like a monkey if it wants to, but ultimately it's still a dog. But if it behaves like a monkey, so then we're getting into behavior. So that's different. So scientifically, bones, skeletons, have different structures and density and mineral content, size, shapes, everything, from race to continents. And so now legally you can be classified as being a British citizen just from living in our country or having children in our country, and then your children are classified as being British when they're actually Pakistan. But if you die and your skeleton is analysed, then you would be originating from the country or race that your skeleton is identified and classified with. And it's the same with genetics and forensics, DNA testing. They can determine your origin, or advanced science can. Now, when I was asking this to Google, this is the funny thing, because of what they're programmed with, they're politically biased and they only have texts and references that reflect a certain bias. So they would say, no, you are legally British, even if you're Pakistan, but you've lived in this country for so long, or if you've had a child here. So basically, that's what their answer is. But science would classify you as otherwise. So in law, you have to challenge that. So I was then saying, well, okay. And then their argument is that, well, nobody's authentic because we all migrate and there's been migration for years. And so I then said that I challenged their statement, because authenticity will be, say, an Amazon indigenous tribe that's been isolated. They'll be authentic to have their unique scientific structure that isn't merged with any other person. Because Google were trying to say that, yes, but we've been so merged and kind of, migrated over centuries, that basically it's very difficult to prove. Is it? Now, they have said that they only use mainstream science, and mainstream science establishes that there's no authentic race or culture, that we've all been merged and migrated. So then I obviously referred back that there would be isolated indigenous tribes which would have a unique DNA that won't have had any migration. So if they got a sample from them, which I'm sure scientists have done at some stage, that would be very, very difficult, I know. But if they got a sample from them, they could then use that as a comparable, like a marker. So they only use mainstream texts, mainstream science, which has established that a lie, which is that there's no unique, authentic human with DNA that's not been mixed up with other races, crossbred. So we know that's not true. And obviously independent science, universities and whatever would probably prove that that's not true and there are unique humans. We've already proved that mainstream science isn't correct in other areas, because we've got the autism, MMR, neurological MMR damage debate. And so 3 scientists were, or medical professionals, scientists were proving the same thing at the same time, and they've been branded as frauds or not with integrity when they were with integrity, and their science was valid and it was proven, but because it contradicted the mainstream science, they got thrown out and ridiculed and ceased in their work. So Google don't use any references or texts that verify these or any independent science, and they're not going to, and they've admitted that they only have mainstream schools of thought to collect their answers from. So that was really the basis of this debate. And legally, that isn't right.